Good morning. I said good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. I hope everyone's had their coffee from last night. I've had about 4 cups, so I am lit and ready to go. I'm humbled to be here with you this morning. Done incredibly well over the past few years, tripled my business, but that's not why my wife is the most proud of me. My wife is the most proud of me because of our newborn 5-week-old son, Hudson. Yes, she let me out of the house to be with all of you. Thank you. But as you know, they're not all, usually this quiet and happy all the time. Any minute, they could erupt in a crying nightmare. And my wife's solution to this is she pulls her phone out, presses a few buttons on her phone, and all of a sudden there's 35 boxes of Amazon at our doorstep. Yeah. But you see, this is what I find so fascinating. This is our opportunity at e-tail and in e-retail. I believe we are at the beginning of an e-retail revolution. Real opportunity lies ahead. Many of us in this room are here at this conference because we're like this little baby with spaghetti on its head. We're trying to figure out e-commerce. Some may be a little cleaner at eating than others. But over the next few years, we have a real opportunity to seize this e-commerce growth. We could be like Leonardo DiCaprio tossing money out on the side of his yacht in Wolf of Wall Street. The bad news is that marketplaces are swallowing e-retail. Marketplaces like Amazon. This is a graph eMarketer published not too long ago. Specifically in the red and light gray, it shows the growth of marketplace share of total e-commerce sales as it relates to total e-commerce sales in the United States. It continues to grow. Marketplaces are continuing to swallow that e-retail share of voice. So what can we do about it? This is exactly what I did 3 years ago when I sat and looked at the state of the industry. And that is look to the future. I believe looking in the future can help us create a strategy to prepare us over the next few years of this e-retail revolution. So a little bit about me. Why am I qualified to be here on the stage? 3 years ago, I was doing $0 in e-commerce revenue. As we speak, I'm approaching the $25 million mark on Amazon in the United States. That doesn't include the other marketplaces. And we're set to do about $50 million on Amazon. This is a picture of our distribution center in Detroit, where we fulfill a lot of these in partnership with Amazon. And none of this was by accident. As this was happening, we created an innovation group in an agency called Blue Wheel Media to drive all of the Amazon advertising that makes our product successful. So in order to prepare for the future, we have to establish some ground rules. And the first is that marketplaces are different than e-retail. And many of you are very savvy in the audience. You might be thinking, yeah, I know that, but let's just level set for a minute. Before Amazon, there were 4 major channels of distribution: mass, mid-tier, specialty, and e-retail. This is the channels of distribution a brand could sell through. But when Amazon became the beast it became, it introduced a 5th channel, and that's marketplaces. It behaves totally differently than an e-retailer. So what's the difference? First of all, when I refer to an e-retailer, I'm referring to a website like Bed Bath & Beyond. And when I refer to marketplaces, I'm referring to websites like eBay, Amazon, Etsy, Overstock, Newegg. And the difference is the seller or sellers of record. This Keurig coffee machine sold on Bed Bath & Beyond is priced at $99.99 because Bed Bath & Beyond is the only seller of record that's selling that item on its own website. But on Amazon, it's priced at $55.99 because there are 39 other sellers selling that same item. And it's critical to understand the behavior of marketplaces to create the strategy for the future. And so what do? How do we do what I did 3 years ago? How do we expand our e-retail future? And I believe it's important to look. So let's do that for a minute. What's happening right now in the near future? First of all, one big trend is Instagram just launched its marketplace. Many of you have heard of this. It's in beta, only to select brands, but in 2020, it'll be available to everybody. And so we have to ask ourselves, anytime something like this news comes out, don't just read it. Ask yourself for a second, why are they doing this? And the first reason is Instagram wants a slice of the transaction fee. They're tired of brands like Kylie Cosmetic posting a picture about their new lip kit and consumers clicking on it, going to Kylie's website or another retailer's website and buying it. They want a piece of the transaction. They want 15% like Amazon. And the second reason they're doing this is because they want to increase their ad revenue, the main source of income that Instagram has. And so if the transaction happens right within Instagram, then the conversion rates will increase and brands will pour more money into it because their return on ad spend will increase. And Instagram knows this. Let's look at another trend. Who here has heard of Google Express? Raise your hand. Yeah, that's what I thought. So like 25% of the room, right? This is the worst idea Google ever created in Google history. And I'm going to tell you why. So Google said to itself, I'm going to partner with the top 20 major brick and mortar retailers. They're going to take their on-shelf product. We're going to offer it in this marketplace called Google Express. A consumer is going to type for a product, find it, buy it in Google Express, and then Google is going to send this little tiny minivan into the store, physically pick the item up, and deliver it to the consumer in the last mile. Why is this dumb? Because it only solves the problem for 1% of the population, those who live in major metropolitan areas. You know, Google can't drive these minivans all over America, so what about the rest of us? And the other silly reason is because the catalog is finite. They're only offering items that are on a limited shelf space. So what happened? Very recently, Google announced that it's launching its Amazon competition called Shopping Actions. An article came out probably no more than a month ago. And so Amazon soon will have a destination, Google will soon have a destination at shopping.google.com where they will try to expand into the infinite shelf space that Amazon has. So why are they doing this? It's the important question we all have to ask ourselves in e-commerce. And the first reason, just like Instagram, is they want a piece of the transaction fee. How many times have all of you as consumers typed something into Google and the first few links are an Amazon link? And then you go to Amazon and you buy the product. Google is tired of referring traffic to Amazon. They want 15% of the transaction, just like Amazon. And the second reason is advertising revenue. Google has 1 billion users that it can advertise to. This is a main source of income, and it knows that if it can serve a product right below that YouTube video, or as maybe me, I'm emailing my wife about picking up some diapers, all of a sudden I'm going to see a product for diapers right in Gmail, and I'm going to be able to transact right there. Or maybe I'm driving and using Google Maps, and I see the product and I can buy it right in Google Maps. Google knows that if it can create a transaction right within its ecosystem, that the return on ad spend will increase because brands will invest more dollars. So what we can start to see is the transaction destination is moving. Today, we browse on Instagram or Google, we click to go to the retail website, and then we purchase. But in the very near future, it's going to be standard to browse and purchase. We will hang out in these ecosystems that we hang out in and just buy the item right there. So I believe the consolidation of e-retail is happening. You know, you can drive down the street and hear all the press about retail closing doors, and you can see the signs on the street, but you can't see the signs of websites closing their doors every day. And it's happening as we speak because marketplaces are swallowing e-retail. So we have to ask ourselves, what happens next? There will be, I believe in the near future, there will be a rise of digital ecosystems. The few websites or apps that we hang out in every day will offer a marketplace option to buy the product right there because they all know the next step is more ad revenue. So what happens if these digital ecosystems drive a majority of e-commerce revenue? Everything will become pay to play. And why do I say that? Because now we're talking about a handful of websites with millions or trillions of products. How do you get your product to rise above another product in the same product category? You pay for it. That is why Amazon's the third largest media platform in the world now, behind Facebook and Google, because sponsored products generate them $10 billion. The only way you can be at the top of a search or in front of a consumer if the catalog has trillions of products is if you pay for it. Sponsored products will be the status quo. So what do you do? How do you prepare for the future? How do you do what I did 3 years ago? Take action. If there's one thing I want you to remember over these 15 minutes, it's these next 3 things. And the first is distribute. Go where the customer is going. And you might think to yourself, I already syndicate my catalog to Amazon. I'm on a few marketplaces. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying have a plan so that you can deploy your product to any new marketplace that pops up in the relative near future. Be ready for Google Shopping. Be ready for YouTube. Be ready for Gmail, because it's happening right now. But if you don't have the infrastructure today, you will be left behind. And the second is control your brand. Don't be like that coffee machine earlier and have 39 other people selling it, because consumers will just find the lowest price. And you have to tell the same story with the same title and the same bullet points with the same imagery. And you think this isn't important, but as it proliferates to a handful of digital ecosystems, it's critical. And lastly, advertise. If you think listing products in an ecosystem with trillions of other products, and you're doing however much in revenue you're doing, if you think that's enough, think again. Because sponsoring your product in any way, shape, or form to rise above the other will get you more visibility than you could ever imagine organically. That's going to be the name of the game in the near future. I'll be out on the exhibit floor all day in row 500. Come talk. Disagree with me, agree with me. I do think there is a time and place for e-retail, so don't think I'm totally polarized, but those are the types of conversations we have behind the scenes. Let's help each other talk about this topic. I'm excited to be with you this morning. Thank you.